Hello, everyone. This is Chala, CEO and founder of the Repositioning Expert, welcoming you to another live Tuesday Tea Time with Chala session. Today is not a fun topic, but it is in the news. It is on my mind, and I write about what I see and what I live through with my clients and what I see out in the community. And when I go to conferences, what I see being shared by other business owners. So unfortunately, today's topic is not a happy one. But before I dive in, this one is a protein. So let me take a sip of that. Oh, that's a hot one. Some days it's hot, some days it's cold. Okay, so stress is just like a catch-all word for everything now. Yes, it's a fact of life. You wouldn't even get out of bed if it wasn't for stress. But what does too much stress cause? And what most of all does it cause in your business? I am witness to this all day, every day with my clients, and especially in these troubling times. Although I did read this morning that business owner confidence has gone up, surprisingly, for in the future, like currently compared to what it was last month. So that's good. That's really good. I mean, certainly the stock market has rallied, and there is still a lot of uncertainty, but a little bit of confidence is coming back. So that's good. But for many small businesses this summer, more than ever, their stress is stopping their sales growth, their company growth. And it spells doom because it's not just a one-time hit. It's actually changing their brain structure. And let me share some scary science with you. So really, what is the problem? Is that 88% of entrepreneurs have at least one mental health issue, which is 50% more than the average population. So already you're in a very high-risk group, and there's a lot of stuff going on there. Now, 81% report feeling stressed, and a third report extreme stress. So I wonder how that's coming out in their business. And then 42% actually have burnout, which means they can no longer sustain everyday activities in their personal or business life. Half of all CEOs get less than 6 hours of sleep, which is part of thinking about the business. And the reason for all of this stress, the number one reason is money. How are they going to pay, how are they going to make rent? How are they going to make payroll? And then the rest of it is operations and so on. So why is this a problem? Well, obviously your health, death, dismemberment, and all that, the fun stuff. But why in the interim is it a problem for your business and until you get there? So 77% actually of these stressed and burnt out entrepreneurs never seek help. And this is all studies and science. And the number one reason is 84% don't do it because of stigma, because there's still a stigma attached to getting therapy. It's still a bad thing in some people's eyes, in a lot of entrepreneurs' eyes. The second is cost. And the third is there's just no time. They just don't have time. They're time starved. So it just perpetuates and grows. So why is this a problem with your business? Is because chronic stress shuts down your executive function. So your prefrontal cortex, which is at the front of your brain, shuts down. So what are some of the things that you're incapable of doing slowly but surely as the stress continues to become chronic if you don't address it, stop it, and actually look into it? So the first thing that goes is clear thinking, planning, creativity. These are all the prefrontal cortex executive function that you're losing. Self-regulation, memory, innovation. So most of this is all related to strategy, sales, outreach, communication, dealing with internal and external parties. So why this is a problem is that the entrepreneur goes into a survival mode. And when that happens, they have additional impaired thinking, and they have delayed and deferred decision making, especially when it comes to growth opportunities. And then the worst thing, of course, is that the reptilian brain, which is at the back here, which is called the amygdala, which is the brain's alarm system, continues to grow as it pumps out cortisol, which is, a hormone in your body that is a stress hormone. And all of this causes long-term, first of all, very serious diseases. But in the short term, it just simply stops you from being able to look at and operate your business in an efficient way. And mostly it stops your business growth. So what is it that you can do about it, really? Is, well, I mean, first, I would love for you to admit that there's a problem, and not just, yeah, I'm stressed. Yeah, things aren't great. Yeah, everything's rocky and shaky. No, like, admit specifically where there is a problem. Think about all the different things that you used to do versus that you have to do, that you're not doing, the things that you're delaying, deferring, not doing, skipping, not seeing. Ask people in the business what they see you doing, not doing as well, or doing more of, that is not benefiting the company. And obviously there has to be some trust there for you to do that. So admitting there's a problem and asking others where they see a problem is really, others that are close to you into the business, is really the first step. Then I am a huge proponent of tracking it. Whenever I start work with a client, we track things. So and I do this in my own company and in my own life. I track my sleep. I track my food. I track my rest. I track my me time versus work time. I track how much I'm working in the business versus on the business. You can track delegation. How many, what percentage of the decisions today did you defer, or did you did you delegate, or did you do them yourself? What percentage of the time are you using to farm versus hunt existing accounts and clients? And this is similar to working in the business versus on the business. And then once you do some meaningful tracking over a couple of weeks, hopefully over a month, then you do a focused redistribution of where there are imbalances. And I know you'll find them, and what you track grows. So when you want to track the positive stuff that you're doing that are working on the business, and, outreach and planning or visioning or whatever it is that your paralyzed amygdala driven brain has let go of, hopefully this exercise of tracking will bring you some awareness. There's some very famous studies around what people are thinking that they're doing versus what they're actually doing that is revealed in tracking. And this has to do, I've seen studies around eating. They're eating way more calories, speaking. They think they're sleeping a lot more and they're not sleeping. I've heard this even about telling the truth. They're like people exaggerate 50% by 50%. Just, no matter what they're saying, because that's what happens in their memory. So that tracking is really going to set you free and actually give you the information that you need. And then, of course, the third step is get some help. And of course, you're going to say, Chala, if I had the time or the money, I would, but I don't. And what I'm saying is borrow, beg, steal, take it from somewhere else in your life, but figure it out, because this is going to stop your business growth. This stuck, mindset, mentality, mental struggle that you're having is the oxygen to your business. And when the, engine to the business, you are the engine to the business, is impaired, the business is not going to run. It's going to stop running. So get help with whatever part you've identified in your tracking that you're most struggling with. And then find, whether coaches, consultants, informal or formal boards of directors. I've had all of these. Mental health professional. Again, you could, get free ones. You can get covered ones. You can get specialists. And then peer groups are good. They sometimes make you feel like you're not alone. And your industry associations are really great for that. And believe it or not, AI is really playing a huge role when people are just entering their problems and asking for opinions or solutions or advice from ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, you name it. It's really, really great. Failing everything, try that. Now, the only thing those, the passive ones can't do is keep you accountable and keep you moving forward and give you that emotional strength and or the support and resilience that you need to move forward past this stuck moment, because it's imperative that you move through this as quickly as possible. Otherwise it becomes chronic, and then you really get stuck, and then it becomes, you don't want to become a statistic of the failing business. And then as a last step to help you with this, the stress stopping your growth, is set up a mental health maintenance program, I call it. So I have one, and I tell my clients to have one. And it's basically like brushing teeth, because you can't just brush your teeth once a month and expect for your teeth to be healthy, right? So you brush them every day, because every day there's gunk that gets on it. And similarly, every day you wake up and you go through stress that sticks to your brain like gunk, which is why you can't sleep, because you're trying to solve those problems in your sleep. So what I'm recommending is, what I do is journaling, visualization. I have started transcendental meditation. It's 20 minutes a day. You pay $1,000 to learn how to do it, which is really unheard of. When I heard about it, it was just funny, because I'd been meditating for decades and decades, but I had never ever heard of anyone paying $1,000 to learn how to meditate. And it's been phenomenal. I've never really gotten into meditation because I could never focus, but this allows you to actually think. It encourages you to think, because it talks about how your thoughts are, actually de-stressing, decharging, and coming out of your system as you're thinking them. And yet, throughout the whole transcendental meditation 20 minutes that I do it, I literally feel my front of my brain is numb. It gets numb through this 20 minutes, and I have no idea how it works. It's been really, really instrumental in keeping my mental health maintenance. And there are 700 plus studies that have been done that are related to the benefits of the blood flow going to the prefrontal cortex, and the amygdala shrinking, because the cortisol is shrinking, the hormone release of cortisol is shrinking, all due to the fact that you're taking the 20 minutes times 2 a day to be able to calm your nervous system. So really hugely beneficial. Any practice that you can do on a daily basis that calms your nervous system, and those are called somatic therapies or activities, look into that. There's breath work, there's tapping, because at the end of the day, when your prefrontal when your brain is engaged, all your senses and your nervous system is engaged. And so cognitive is one thing, and you have to work on the cognitive level, and that's working with the coaches and the journals, and all of this is like above here. But then below here is the stuff that it's in your subconscious that you have to regulate and calm down, because it triggers some fears that you have, God knows, from your childhood and from wherever else, that are triggering you because of the uncertainty, unsafety, and whatever you're facing that's causing all the stress. Okay. And of course, as well as the journaling and meditation, is the exercise, which is just like an obvious thing. But even if you don't exercise, maybe that's a walk a day that you don't do. And I also like the staycation. Now, I understand that you're not going to go and try to go away on a huge expensive vacation when the business is in stress and you're in stress and you're not even sleeping. How are you going to go out on a vacation? You wouldn't probably even enjoy if you did. But a staycation, those are smaller, but you can weave them in to breaks to really give yourself mental health breaks. And so these are some of the things that I do when my business is stressed, when I'm stressed. And luckily, I have come to a point in my business where I've been doing this for over a decade. So I have these practices where it regulates me. But business never stops changing. The environment never stops changing. Challenges never are ending. You will always have a challenge. And so, the normal is uncomfortable. So when you get used to that, that's great. But I'm doing this here today, both to remind my clients and those businesses that I'm, talking to every day in the community about how they're feeling, and that is temporary. But in the interim, of getting over this hump that you need to really take stock, look at your life, your health, and your business, and you have to do something about it instead of just ignoring it and saying that it's stress, because it is going to hurt you if it's not already, because there's brain change happening, guys, and it's science. So hopefully on that positive note, I am seeing wonderful things for you. Confidence is going up. Summer is great. So I'm hoping for a wonderful, wonderful summer, and then the fall following that, and finishing off the year strong for all of us. All right, everyone. I will see you next week. Take care.